Hello, loves, and welcome back to Happy You Tarot. If you're new, welcome, and if we are meeting for the first time, welcome. Today, we're going to do some general messages for air signs, so Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. These will be timestamped, so you can go to your specific reading. And remember, the readings are timeless, so whenever you find this reading, if it resonates with you, it's for you. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Leave me a comment, share with someone who you think could benefit from the reading. And yeah, sit back, relax, let's get started, okay? So, I've already did my little cleanse, but I am going to light some Palo Santo, clear our space before we get started. All right. And we're going to pray. Holy Spirit, Spirit guides, angels, ancestors, those that sit at the highest, best frequency right now for me and my Happy You Collective. Thank you as always for your love, your light, your support, and your guidance through the readings. Please allow me to be a clear channel for all messages that my collective needs to hear, and let me channel the messages clearly so that they can understand them. Amen, amen, amen. All right, let's get started. So Libra, we're going to look at some maybe some current energy blockages, any hidden influences, advice from spirit. We're going to be tapping into some oracle and tarot. I'm going to be using for your oracle at the end. We're going to be using our Sacred Symbols tarot deck, Sacred Symbols oracle deck, excuse me. I'm really enjoying that, and we're going to sacred symbol that I'm going to pick specifically for you. And you can use that to create a mantra, to create a focal point, vision point for meditation. And I'm setting the intention that the symbol resonates with the reading. It confirms what we've seen in the reading, and it's something that, if you would like to, use that symbol right now with a situation that you're going through or something like that, that it benefits you, okay? So let's see. All right. I shuffled these earlier, but let me see. They're falling everywhere. All right, Libra. So let's get started. What is the energy situation that's around my Libra collective spirit? Let's see. That's too many cards. Let's see what we got. A lot of the readings have been focusing around relationships, romantic, family. So yeah, a lot of relationship energy for my Libras. All right. The zodiac signs already that I'm picking up. That's in your energy right now, and this, you can have this in your chart, but I'm picking up Taurus and Gemini. Okay. Spirit wants you to have no fear in the situation. Okay. You have the bottom of the deck advice. Have no fear. Okay, Libra. So this looks like it could possibly be a relationship. For some of you, and I send you love and light, because I know that's breakups and separation and divorce is not, not easy, because I'm picking that up for some of you. You have Ace of Cups here with the Hierophant energy, and the card of lost, feeling lost, ghosted. You have children here, or just a very playful, youthful energy. You also have the zodiac sign of Gemini. And for me, Gemini also represents communication, standing in alignment with, with someone, or needing to align with someone, right? Especially if you're entering Gemini being a sign of air, the mind, the way we think, the way we, communicate. So, yeah, it could be someone definitely that you're trying to get on the same page with. And then you have the card of projected future days, weeks, so like timing, okay? It's like a projected outlook. And that card always indicates to me that like there's like some delicate timing around something, like something is happening in the moment. You're in the moment, right? And the situation is already unfolding, okay? Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups can talk about, feeling renewed. And for some of you, this may be like for some of you, it's next to the Hierophant energy. Let me just say that it's next. You have Ace of Cups next to the Hierophant energy, and then the next card would be Lost. Okay, so your part. Some of you may feel a sense of like renewal, like this has been a emotional, like a lot of like drain, right? A drain on your emotional body. So if you've had to enter some type of, you're going through a divorce, you're going through a breakup, maybe you have found the courage to actually walk away. And although it was difficult, you're in a space where you feel relief, okay? However, then your partner may be feeling lost, okay? You may have blocked them, cut them off, walked away. So it's giving me the energy of maybe someone is happy about a decision to walk away from a connection, and then someone may not be. Okay, you could have been in sacred union with this person. Hierophant can talk about a marriage, higher levels of commitment, or you just could have been with this person for a long period of time. And you take that how it resonates. You could be walking away from a friend. This could be family that you've just had to disconnect from. But the heaviest energy I'm getting is like a romantic connection. And you also have children here. So you may have children with this person. I'm also feeling with this energy that this is someone who you've known for a significant amount of time. So this could have been someone you've known since you were a child, or for, a long period of time. They have kind of walked with you through your different phases of life. So maybe like, when you were younger until now, the present. Projected lets me know, like I said, that something is active around this situation. Like things are happening now, like in real time. So yeah. All right. You also have two additional cards that fell out over here. It says advice cards. It says stay focused. Remember why you started. Okay. So if you had to be the one to initiate this breakup, this divorce, get the ball going to, block communication from this person, to just, because I'm feeling that you did what was best for you. In this situation, Spirit wants you to remember that. Wants you to stay focused. Remember why you started this journey, right? To possibly separate from this person, to do what was highest best for you. Okay. And you also have to trust your intuition. Okay. Because I feel for who I'm connecting with, you giving it some thought, and you're trusting your spirit guides, your higher self, right? You're trusting that you're making the right decision. Okay. So this other person, then, if they are, because I'm feeling like there may be some conflict, the feelings may not be mutual in this separation, so this person may definitely be in an energy where they're not wanting to shut the door, not wanting to end this situation, is picking that up too. So Spirit wants you to just stay focused on, and trust your intuition. Okay. Intuition, and be discerning as to, your next moves and things like that with this person. And once again, the card of have no fear. Okay. Have no fear came out as the bottom of the deck energy. So Spirit wants you to just move and trust your intuition and have no fear. With the decision that you've made, because like I said, if this is separated from someone you've known for a significant amount of time, I can see how that could be something that's not, it's difficult. It's heavy. It's weighing heavy on your energy. But I do feel like you also have, you're beginning to recognize who you are. So a lot of you are healing, already you're in a sense of healing. Because remember we said it's our Ace of Cups is like refined, like new energy. I feel good again. I'm starting to feel whole and complete. It was a lot, but I've released it, and I'm coming back into a state of groundedness. Okay. Yeah. For some of you, you may have thought this was your divine masculine, okay? And but this person end up to be all for themselves. They have all for self, and so you kind of giving this person the silent treatment, okay? So Libra, this definitely feels like a romantic connection, but like I said, you take it how it resonates. This could be someone that just sits, in your heart space. So this could be a family member, a close friend, but it does feel like a relationship of romantically, okay? And someone you've known for a significant amount of time, or someone that you've just really connected with on a deeper level, and it's hard to walk away from them, but you do feel good with the decision. So you're kind of still like, coming into alignment with the decision that you made. So Spirit is just like, don't forget, stay focused. Remember why you started. Trust your intuition. Have no fear. Continue to heal with this, beginning to recognize who you are, because I think you're right that this person was all out for self. They may have been a false, you may have thought this was your person, but, it may have turned out not to be so. All right. So let's look through tarot and see the energy. Spirit, if we can get a little bit more into this energy for Libra. Current energy. Blockages. Yeah, you have the Hierophant again. So yeah, this could have definitely been someone. Could be talking to a Libra who's definitely walked away from a long-term relationship, or just someone that they really love. Even if you've known this person for a short amount of time, you just really connected. You thought this was they're the one. But you have the High Priestess here, and the Star card. So it's like, trust your intuition, continue to follow what you know is right? Your divine direction. Spirit is guiding you, okay? Hierophant here is reversed, so the end to that, what you thought may have been like I said, your person. So, and then let's see, you also have the Ace of Wands. So you have two aces here. The first spread, you have the Ace of Cups, and now the Ace of Wands is presenting itself as your current energy. So you may feel very, there's a sense that you feel relief, but there's a sense that also this has been a lot. This has been really heavy, and maybe you're coming out of that because you had to release it, and the relationship was, it became a burden, and so emotional drain is what I'm wanting to say, and so like I said, coming back into alignment with those parts of you, trusting your intuition. But right now, yeah, there's a sense that some of you just may feel like, I'm relieved, but I'm like so tired. I hear someone say like, I'm so over this situation. Like, I'm so ready to be done, like with the healing process part of it. But trust the process. You'll get there. As a matter of fact, in the position of your blockages, you have the Six of Wands. Which is good. This is always my victory, right? There's a victory for you. Like you're conquering. You have conquered it, okay? So you have to see it as so, right? Even if you're going through the process, you're at the beginning stages of this breakup, this separation, just know that you're going to be victorious, because if I'm talking to a Libra who has, stepped out and doing what's best for them, and even though this was hard, but you had to leave to have your own sense of peace and serenity, then that's what I'm saying, that there is a victory for you. So there's no blockage. I think the blockage then would be for you to see it as so, okay? See it as a victory. See it as something that is good for you, because that was the whole point of making the decision. And just feeling, maybe feeling grounded, right, in your decision to separate from this person, to walk away, to just shut the door. I'm hearing shut the door this a final time. So maybe there's someone who's just been in and out of your life, and you've tried and you've given them the benefit of the doubt, and you've tried to mend the situation, but it just hasn't. There was just nothing else left, for you to do. So Spirit is recognizing that. Hidden influences is a justice card. Like I said, I could be speaking to someone who's going through a divorce process. So then it's legal. Justice can talk about legal proceedings, having to go to court, but it's in the upright position. So things are going to, balance out, work out in your favor. But because it is like a hidden influence, like things that maybe you don't see coming, maybe this is going to be, maybe because you do have the card of children. So if you do have children with this person, maybe just going through the whole process of like maybe custody or joint custody or something like that, or just the whole emotional part that comes with families who have children who, once you separate, you may be seeing that your children are going through, this process, and it's a lot for them emotionally. So that's what I'm getting with that justice card. So what you don't see coming is you may have to, stay in the struggle with this for a little longer. It may be some challenges, some more obstacles, because like I said, it's you're in the moment of it. So, but if you're in the, in the midst of the storm, right, you're just in the middle of it, but, the storm will clear, right, because that's life. That's the balance of life, right? We find ourselves in, our abundant season, and then we find ourselves in our, our drought season. But, whatever season you're in this moment, just know that it is a season, and seasons do change, right? So see yourself with this 6 of Wands energy. I want to tell you to see yourself already at the finish line, already at your victory moment, okay? And that's beautiful. All right. So that's what I have for you, Libra. And continue to trust your intuition. Your reading was straight to the point, so we're going to pull you an oracle card. I really don't have much to see, because it's pretty clear. But I would just say stay encouraged, stay connected to your village, right? Those people who support you and sit in love and light and sit in alignment with you, because I can understand that this is something very difficult. Yeah. Been there, done that. I understand. And any type of separation is hard, right? Where we have, whether we're walking away from or we have lost a job, or walking away from a connection, or, if you've lost someone through, because they've transitioned, right? And passed away. I mean, it's all, change is difficult, right? But I always take, I meditate on the fact that, change is difficult, right? But it's also inevitable. And if we're changing, we're growing, right? We're learning. We're becoming the best versions of ourselves. So just set that intention that even through the storm of this, I'm in the storm, but, I already see myself out, and, victory is mine, okay? So I think that's it. I'm going to pull a few more tarot cards for you to see what I get. I don't see you in this for long, though. So if you are going through something, because I'm talking to a Libra as well, because Libra is also, the Justice card represents you. Libra is, just being an advocate. As much as Libras are the balance and the advocates for others, right now that, pour that energy back into yourself. You have Ace of Cups here again. So I also feel like this situation is going to go by faster than you think. Like it may be some bumps in the road, especially if it's some legal things, separation, and you're separating property, or maybe, like I said, creating, what are we going to do as far as with the children, kind of getting in that space. But you have the Knight of Wands here with the Knight of Pentacles. So like a maybe not a smooth transition, but you're definitely going to come out of this victorious. And when you look back, you're going to say, whew, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Okay. Because you have the Ace of Cups here twice. You had it in the first spread and the second spread. So yeah, just, I hope that encouraged someone to just keep going, because it looks really good. It looks, I see the heaviness, but the storm is clearing, Libra. Okay. So I'm going to pull you a sacred symbol card, and this card can be used to meditate with as a focal point as you're, when you're sitting in your sacred space, and you're, focusing on this situation. But also, like I say, it's okay to see it for what it is, but we don't want to stay stuck, And so hopefully this sacred symbol will give you some inspiration and just something to focus on. You can take a screenshot of it. You can look it up yourself. But we're using the Sacred Symbols Oracle. Okay. So, and I'm going to be reading from the book what it means. Oh, wow. Look at that. That's so fitting for your reading. You have death. Okay. And remember, death is transformation, right? Nothing really dies. It's just transformed and reborn into something better. There's a lot of, I've come to really respect the energy of the death card in the tarot, because, you understand that death is a part of life, but death is transition. Death is transformation. Transformation, things becoming new. Sometimes we have to let things go, right? We have to let them, in a sense, die out so that we can come into newness and wholeness with self, right? So I love that. I love that symbol came out for you, Libra, for this situation. So that's the symbol. It's a skull and rose. The number at the bottom is 36. So that may be significant to you. 6 and 3 is what, 9? Yes. So 9, remember 9 is right. You have 9, and then 10 is completion. 10 could also be the start of something new. So in a lot of ways, 9 is the end, because 10 is like the start of something new with the 1, right? So that's beautiful. All right. So I'm going to read what that means, the meaning behind this sacred symbol. All right. And I'm going to show the card as I'm reading it. It says, the noticeable end of a cycle or situation, grieving or mourning a loss in order to heal. It is time to watch the old way leave itself in the past. Allow feelings of grief and sadness to move through you with ease. Meditate on this when you want to honor an ending, a loss, or letting go of something in your life with grace. Without death, there would be no life, and vice versa. The symbol is the skull and the rose, and the skull and the rose symbolize that all is sacred in life and death. I love that. I love that, Libra. And I hope that helps. Stay encouraged. You got this. You have 6 of Wands. Like I said, that's my victory card. So there's a victory on the other side. All right. So that was for Libra. And so we're going to do Gemini. All right. So hello, Gemini. Let me see. All right, Gemini. I hope all is well with you, Gemini. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know how the reading resonates, if it resonates. Thank you for those who have subscribed. Our little family here is growing. I'm so excited about that. All right. All right. For Gemini. So Gemini, I'm going to pull some Oracle and Tarot cards. And at the end, I'm going to pull you a sacred symbol. We're using our sacred symbol Oracle deck. And when I get to it, I'll explain a little bit more how you can use that as a focal point for meditation to help you through a current situation. All right. All right, Spirit. This is for Gemini. What is the energy that surrounds my Geminis? What is the situation fell out. All right. Some of you are in deep thought about a situation. All right. This card is calling me too. All right. Let's see. You have a lot of cards here. Let me just, the ones that flipped over, I'm just going to get those. All right. So let's see. The first thing I want to say to you, Gemini, you have the card of trust your intuition. I just feel the need to say trust your gut instincts. Because your hermit is here. Okay, Virgo energy. You're in a like a introspection. You're taking an assessment from within, right? You're going within. You're thinking. You're in deep thought. You're contemplating. You're really. The hermit energy is, finding the light within, right? Finding the answers within. Sometimes, I love that energy of the hermit, because sometimes we have to disconnect from what's in front of us and go within, right? Because even if outside of us is chaotic, we have to find our inner, peace, because we know that, happiness is our birthright. We are love, made in love, for love, by love. So we are all of those things, or those high vibrational things are within us. But sometimes when we look outside of ourselves and we look only at the situation outside of us and around us, it's okay to do that, right? Because we have to, take an assessment and accountability for what things that are going on. But it's also the balance of that. And that's what the hermit talks about, is balancing that, that inner peace, understanding the inner man, right? Or the inner woman, right? So just understanding, inner standing, right? So the hermit is significant for that. So you have the card, the hermit, and the trust your intuition. So that's why I feel the need to say trust your gut instincts, your intuition, your discernment. Okay, if we're looking at it from ego, from logic, we want to trust the facts as we know them, right? I'm hearing, don't fluff it up to something that it is not, right? Sometimes we have to see things as they are. So I may be speaking to a Gemini who, because you have the card of empathy here. So very empathic, very very empathetic. You want to see the best in others. You want what's best for others, but we also have to see things truly for what they are. So I could be speaking to a Gemini who's trying to create peace in a situation, and that's okay. But sometimes when we enter, if this is another person, it's like we can only do our part, right? So that other person has to align with that frequency of what it is that we're trying to do, if we're trying to create peace out of chaos. But if the other person is always coming in trying to disrupt that, you have to sit and respect that maybe they don't want what you want. They don't want the peace, right? Or peace of mind, peace in the situation. Because that's what I'm feeling like. There's like there's someone who is trying to create peace in chaos. And like I said, there's not anything wrong with that. But then it's like there's a sense that you are trying to create so much, maybe some peace out of a situation, that it is the chaos is the other person not wanting to sit in alignment with you is throwing you off of alignment. Okay, is what I'm getting. You could be dealing with a Virgo. You could have that in your chart. You could be dealing with a Leo, or just someone who, or Leo could also represent standing your ground in a situation, or you may be dealing with someone who is standing their grounds, but maybe someone that's not flexible. Okay, they're not willing to come to the table and really meet you where you are. This person could be, I'm hearing, wounded. This person could be living in like a very defense. They're on the defense. Okay. That doesn't necessarily have to be the energy of Leo, but that's with the rest of the cards. That's what I'm getting. Um, I feel like too, as clarity, as you're trusting your intuition, trusting, your guides, and trusting divine to really show you what this is, like show you the truth in a situation. It's making you feel very hurt. It's hurt. It's like you have the card of crushed, broken, and there's a feeling of like isolation. But remember the hermit energy, the hermit sits in isolation. Hermit separates itself from the crowd. But it's almost like a calling from the divine to sit away from the crowd so that you can go in, introspection, observe, right? Sometimes we have to take a step back to be that silent observer instead of the person that's in the midst of whatever that situation is, to get a different perspective. Sometimes the person outside of the chaos or whatever the situation is can see things a little clearer because they have more of a bird's eye view over the whole situation, as opposed to the people in the situation, right? So yeah, so I'm getting to, I want to say to you, like, this is a blessing. Like, I think that if you're being called to maybe you feel alone or you feel isolated in a situation, but it's more time for you to create a sacred space, right? Create, more of maybe a connection with you and the divine so that you can trust your intuition, right? Listening to your spirit guides in this situation so that you know how to proceed next, okay? This situation is very emotional. You have water here. Water, this card, this oracle always gives me the energy of like emotions. Okay, you could be dealing with a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, but it's really giving me an indication of like it's just emotional. This is very emotional, especially next to this sad, crushed, broken. And spirit is just like continue to trust. Listen from within. You have the past happen, so something could have happened in the past, the recent past, the distant past, but yeah. And so you're just taking an observation and, like I said, going within and just kind of looking at things, as they are. I feel like you're not trying to fix things anymore. You're just kind of sitting back and just watching them play out. And spirit is like, that's, it's almost like you're right on track with what you're supposed to be doing. So, because I feel like that's the advice here. Also, like it's okay that you're not a part of it anymore. Like you've done all you can do. Now you just have to kind of sit back and just let things play out. So that's what I'm getting for you, Gemini. Okay. You also have the Chariot card. So things are progressing the way that they're supposed to. Okay. So even if it's something that, like I say, you don't, maybe something you want to be different. You want there to be some healing energy poured into this situation. I feel like to say, yeah, it is, but it may not look the way you want it to look. It may not be the solution that you're thinking about, may not be the solution, but it's still a solution nonetheless. And it's still divine timing, and it's still progressing and moving the way that it should. And that is why spirit has you in this hermit mode so that you can stay focused on, listening from within, getting a more of an understanding of what's going on versus seeing things from only, our two eyes, but trusting third eye, higher consciousness. Okay. So it's a beautiful energy. Someone who's really, it's almost like the divine is calling you to have, closer, so that you can understand yourself, right? Because we are part of that God consciousness, that God frequency lives within us. So just a more closer connection to God, which is a closer connect, to yourself. So that's beautiful. So we're going to go a little deeper. I'm going to look at tarot. Spirit, give me some more about the situation for Gemini. What is the current energy? It seems like everyone is getting so this could be a relationship. All of the and I guess that's just the energy in the air. A lot of the zodiac signs, I've been doing these readings all week, and a lot of the energy is about a relationship, romantic connection. Okay, so this may be someone that you're in odds with romantically. It could be family as well, a relationship of any kind, a job, just walking away from that, but it's giving me the energy of someone that a romantic or family situation. So let's see what we have. All right. Yeah, I think Gemini, you have the Empress here, and well, you have the Five of Swords with the Empress, and so this spread is pretty much saying the same thing. I'm speaking to a Gemini who has poured so much time, energy, love, nurture into a situation, into a relationship, into a project. Just pouring your blood, sweat, and tears, into it. You've prayed, just all these things. You may be seeking advice from, people who you see as, good counsel, wise counsel, right? But it just seems like, Spirit is just like, you gotta set a boundary how much you pour into this situation, especially if the other party is not willing to meet you. It's not a reciprocal cup, right? You're pouring in, but then it's like it's just falling to the ground. And that's what it's giving me with this the energy of the Empress, right? Because Empress is abundant. I mean, that's you, nurture, all about family. This is giving me the energy of someone like family or, romantic, something like that. But this is just you, like pouring in Empress energy, nurture, wanting things to grow, wanting them to be abundant and blessed, right? And then the Five of Swords, it's like your Spirit is asking you to question, but at what cost? At what cost? Like, when is going to be enough where you can just say, this is a drain of, from my cup. Like we have to pour from a cup that's overflowing, right? And then it also, Spirit is like, at what cost? Because at what point is this person or this place thing is going to pour back into you, okay? For some of you, this could be a business, right? You're investing, you're wanting, and then it's just not working. And it's not to say that it shouldn't work, but maybe it's about timing, right? If you're pouring so much into an investment that you're ignoring your family, you're ignoring yourself. Spirit is just like, with the Five of Swords energy, it's like, when is enough going to be enough? Because what point do you say, because at some point you're going to throw yourself under the bus, right? You're sacrificing yourself, okay? And that's never shouldn't be the intention, okay? Compromise is healthy, right? But we compromise because there should be an energy of the other person is also, if this is a romantic connection, there's compromise both sides of the spectrum, right? You and the other person, but yeah, so I'm picking up for you, Gemini. Spirit just may be questioning you. When is enough, okay? Because it looks like who I'm speaking to, like you're pouring, like Empress is the highest energy in tarot. Like you have Queens, and then you have Empress, right? You have the energy of Pages, and then the Empress. Like you can't go any higher other than the Emperor. Like that's you've done all you can do. Okay. Um, so you take that how it resonates. You may be in a connection with someone or a business, arrangement or something where they may be trying to pour into you, and maybe you're not. You're creating a blockage. But I always say if you're the one creating a blockage, then once again it just doesn't sit in alignment, right? So however it goes, it's just kind of like you should question, well, is this even something that I want to align with? Does this align with me? Okay, so something along those lines. All right, is what I'm picking up. All right. So, yeah. And Spirit does want you to trust your intuition in this situation. Yeah, Gemini, I think you've like, it's like the writing is on the wall. So Spirit just wants you to you may be tired, you're pouring from an empty cup. You have the Ace of Wands and the Knight of Cups is in the reverse. So just pouring into something that, your efforts are just not going they're going unnoticed. Okay. So, go into hermit mode and, sit with that. Find reflection time. Maybe I think it's time to pour back into yourself. All right, so I'm going to pull a sacred symbol card. So with these sacred symbols, it can be used like with this situation to give you clarity. So it's a focal point for meditation. You can create an affirmation or mantra around it. You can research this sacred symbol and just see how it's going to benefit you if you want to work with it. All right, but I'm going to pull you a card and then I'm going to read from the book. You're the first sign to get two. Let me see. I'm going to read both of them. I was going to choose. No, I'm going to read both of them. So you have the symbol of death, which is what we're talking about, right? And remember, death is transformation. Okay, so respecting an ending. Death is a part of life. All things come to an end. But if you understand it right from a different perspective, things come to an end so that something else can grow and become renewed and transformed into what's highest best for you. Okay, so the symbol is the skull and the rose. Libra also had that card, so you may be dealing with the Libra. And then psychic. And I love the purple. And once again, you had the card of trust your intuition. Okay, so I love to see that. So I'm going to read both of these. Psychic, the number 48 may be significant. Okay, and then death card is 36, so that may be significant. So I'm going to read them both. All right, so 30, 36. And I just read this one for Libra. All right, I'm going to hold it up. If you want to take a screenshot of it, you can. Death, the noticeable end of a cycle or situation. Grieving or mourning a loss in order to heal. It is time to watch the old leave itself in the past. Allow feelings of grief or sadness to move through you with ease. Meditate on this when you want to honor an ending, a loss, or letting go of something in your life with grace. Without death, there is no life, and vice versa. The symbol is the skull and the rose, and the skull and the rose symbolize that all is sacred in life and death. All right, beautiful. And the second one you have is psychic, number 48, which is all about trusting your intuition, your psychic gifts, prophecy, and see, all of that connects with the hermit card, which talks about going within, introspection, and trusting your vision, right? Trusting your empathic gifts. All right, so I'm gonna hold it up and read it for you. Psychic, intuition, empathic gifts, psychic visions, prophecy, and powerful dreams are present. You now have access to a greater wisdom that is beyond what the human eye can see. This is a time for great awakening, new psychic possibilities, and gifts that come to you now. See the sacredness in this vision, in your visions. Pay attention to your dreams and the symbols that are repeating as messages. Meditate on this symbol when you want to expand your healing, creative dreaming, and psychic abilities. All right. So this is a symbol of the Visca Pisces, which is one of the most profound and sacred geometrical symbols of ancient and modern times. A magical symbol of two intersecting circles, and the name literally means fish in Latin. All right, that's beautiful. So I hope that helped for those Geminis that the reading resonates with. And I hope, you take comfort in knowing that, you're right where you want to, where you're supposed to be. Trust the divine, trust the process, right? And just don't feel the need to sacrifice you in the midst of something. Compromise is okay, but at what point do we set a boundary? At what point, do we not continue to, create like a separation from self, right? Because we are throwing ourselves under the bus. Okay, so that's your message, Gemini, and I hope that helped. Peace, love, and light.